Hey, it's Taylor, and welcome to Scoring Without the Ball. Now, I always tell my players you can average an extra 6, 8, 10 points per game if you just learn how to move without the ball correctly, how to recognize opportunities, how to use screens, how to move correctly without the ball, how to change pace and make contact and get away from your defender on the floor. You can score so many more points per game. It's easy to average just an extra one basket every single quarter if you just recognize the opportunities that are already there on the floor. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do just that, how to capitalize on these opportunities, how to make efficient cuts, how to use screens and things like that that will really help your game, that will impress any coach that comes and watches you play, and will take you to the next level of scoring. So take a look at this presentation. I hope you get a lot out of it, and I will see you.
Okay, so let's talk about scoring without the ball. And I call this the secret of the natural scorers because you'll see the players who really are instinctive natural scorers are incredible at moving without the ball and scoring without the ball because there's a lot of opportunities that you might be missing right now. And this is your chance to score an extra 6, 8, 10 points a game very, very easily. So let's talk about, overview everything we're going to talk about within this video. First of all, we'll talk about getting open against any defender, the techniques that you have to use, how to change pace and get open really in any situation. We'll talk about recognizing those easy scoring opportunities, and there's 3 of them that you really need to be aware of. We're also going to cover scoring off of screens, and if you can really score well off screens, your coach is going to be very impressed. He'll be running more screens for you, which means more points for you, which means more points for your team, which means the coach runs more screens for you, and then you score more and more and more, and it's a self-perpetuating process. So very, very important to learn scoring off screens as well. So let's jump right in first of all and talk about, first of all, getting open in one-on-one situations and then recognizing the scoring opportunities because they kind of go hand in hand. So first of all, we'll talk about the 2 keys to creating space and then the 4 techniques that you need to use. And these 4 techniques are swimming, the V cut and the L cut, which are very, very simple, but a lot of players do them wrong. And then the Reggie Miller cut, which is actually my favorite and it's what I use most often to get open on the court. Next, we'll talk about recognizing scoring opportunities, the dive, the low slash, and the high slash. Okay, so very important to kind of conceptualize everything before we jump right in. Now, let's talk first of all about the keys to getting open one-on-one. And these keys are going to go for, anytime you're making a cut, right? So if you're recognizing a scoring opportunity and you're diving down the middle of the lane, or you're coming off a screen, you still have to use these 2 keys. Okay, and the first one is change of pace. You're going to walk your defender down, or in some way stop if you have to, but change your pace. Okay, so walk down, make contact, and explode out. And the contact is in a way that's very, very specific. So first of all, either you're going to choose to step over their lead foot or between their feet. Okay, over their lead foot and seal them off, or you're stepping between their feet. After you do this, you bump and push, not obviously, don't get called for a foul, but bump and push. So it's going to be shoulder and then a little bit of an elbow push off, make contact, hit the player, all right? Don't be scared of contact. It's a contact sport. And then push off and explode out. Okay, so you walk down, you step over or between their feet, you bump, push, and explode out. So let's talk about swimming. This is the first technique that we'll get into, okay? And again, the same thing applies. You want to change a pace, you want to make contact, but this is a different type of contact, and you're looking to swim over top whenever a defender is blocking the passing lane. We call it swimming just because it looks kind of like a front stroke or whatever, but you're looking to swim over top whenever a defender is blocking the passing lane. And the first thing you're going to do obviously is change pace. Then you're going to make contact and put your arm over their arm, which is already in the passing lane, and do this subtly. Okay, don't make it really obvious because it's possible that some ref might try to call you on a foul, although it isn't. Make sure that you kind of do this subtly. Don't make it too obvious, but swim over top, arm over arm, and then you step over their foot. Okay, so your whole body is just sealing them off. The arm goes over the arm, your foot goes over their foot. You step over and explode out and get open. Okay, this is very, very effective when a defender is blocking the passing lane, and it'll get rid of that arm, seal them off, and get you open. Next, all right, the V cut. And again, this is so simple, but players get it wrong a lot. So I wanted to cover it either way in this video. So use it obviously when you're getting open on the wing. You're going to walk the defender down. All right. A lot of players try to run full speed at the block and then run full speed back out. That's a big mistake. Okay. Walk the defender down. All right, you can walk quickly, but make sure that you're changing pace. So walk the defender down, make contact like we talked about. All right, step between or step over, bump and push, and then explode out off that 1 foot and explode out slightly closer to the ball. Okay, a lot of players explode out and they go right back to the spot that they were at, but that just creates a longer passing lane and more opportunity for the defender to actually catch up and steal the pass, which is obviously not what you want. So explode out slightly closer to the ball. That's why we call it a V cut. All right, slightly closer to the ball. So walk down, make contact, explode out slightly closer to the ball. Next, again, the L cut, similar to the V cut, it's just shaped in an L. It's a 90-degree angle, and you'll use it when you're getting open on the baseline and cutting towards the ball. Make sense? All right, so you're on the baseline. You're going to, again, walk the defender down, change of pace, walk the defender down, make contact, bump and push, foot goes in between or over. You make contact and explode out at a 90-degree angle, which is closer to the ball. Okay, this should give you quite a bit of room, get you closer to the ball, shorten the passing lane, and it'll work very well if you're in the corner and the play dictates for this. So make sure, again, that you're walking the defender down. I can't emphasize that enough. Don't sprint straight to that spot. Walk them down, make contact. You don't have to rush anything, and explode out. Next, all right, the Reggie Miller cut. I use this most often because you can use it in a shallow cut, and it really just comes down to, you might not even have to walk the defender down at all. You might walk them down maybe 2 or 3 steps, and you can use it as a shallow cut, or you can use it as just a regular cut. But in any case, the whole point is that you step and seal, okay? And this really eliminates the defender's ability to get in that passing lane, and it'll get you open. In my experience, 90% of the time it really works. So use it when you're getting open on the wing against a really tough defender, all right? A player that's been kind of pesky all game. And you need to make a more shallow cut if you have to. So walk the defender down. It could be, only a couple steps if you need to. Make hard contact, okay? I can't emphasize this enough. This is where you really need to bump the defender, get them off you, okay? So bump the defender hard, step and seal. See in that bottom picture, it's like I'm posting up on this defender. I put my whole body right in front of him, in between I am in between the ball and my defender. So you step and seal, and then right after you do that, you push off and explode out. And don't make this obvious. Again, with all this contact, you don't want to make it too obvious and get called for a foul, but a little bit of contact is going to help you get open a lot easier. So step and seal, push off, and explode out. Very, very effective cut. So again, we've covered, the 2 keys to creating space: change of pace and contact. We talked about swimming, the V cut, the L cut, the Reggie Miller cut. Now let's get into the really important stuff that's going to add those 6 to 8 to 10 points per game to your scoring average. So recognizing scoring opportunities is going to be huge, and we have 3 of them. You've probably seen them before on the floor, but I need you to kind of pay more attention to them when you're on the floor so that you can score more points, all right? Recognizing scoring opportunities, you're going to recognize these 3: the dive, the backdoor, and the backside slash. Okay, the dive, the backdoor, and the backside slash. We talked about before the high slash and the low slash, but we're also going to emphasize the backdoor because it is important. I know you've probably seen it a million times, you've probably done it a million times, but there's a lot more opportunities that you're probably missing. So let's get first of all into the dive. And anytime your big man has the ball, you're going to want to be looking to dive, okay? And do not cut when he's making his move, obviously. Cut before he's made his move or after he's made his move and it wasn't effective. Okay, so this is what you're going to do when you're going to dive down the middle of the key. The big man has the ball, you're at the top of the lane, or even on the opposite side elbow. You're going to step in the opposite direction, okay? Step fake, opposite the direction of your dive cut. Make the defender follow you, then dive down the lane as fast as you can. Call for the ball. The big man passes you the ball and you lay up, and I recommend doing a half reverse. The reason for this is your defender is going to try to block you on the same side that you came from. You can use the rim and your back and your body to kind of shield that off. But again, be aware if there's people, in the middle of the lane, don't clog it up more. They don't need more people in the lane at one time when they're trying to operate. But if the lane becomes open, and it will very often, try to cut down the middle of the lane. Don't force it, but be aware when there's the opportunity. And here's a big key. Okay, I know a lot of players don't pay attention to this, but try to create a very, very, very close, tight relationship with the big man on your team. All right, become like best friends with them, because they can score you an extra 6, 8, 10 points a game if they will pass you this ball. If you can create kind of a relationship where you guys know exactly how to play together, this will serve you very, very well. So become close with your big man. He's going to score you a ton of points. He's got to know when you're looking to cut down the lane, when you're looking to dive, and you need to be aware of it. Okay, so diving down the lane is going to score you a ton of points. Just make sure that you don't clog up the lane even more when he's trying to make his move. Next, the back door. Again, we've talked about this a million times. You've probably seen it a million times. Just use it when your defender's overplaying you on the wing. You're going to fake towards the ball. Okay, you're going to fake upwards. The defender cheats. He tries to get in the passing lane. You're going to swim over top. Okay, and you're only going to swim over top, obviously, if they try to switch and guard you. Going backdoor, if they put their hand out, like in the first picture, he's got his hand out trying to cover that backdoor pass. But all you're going to do is swim over top of it, push off, and cut backdoor. You're going to catch the ball, and you're going to finish with them on your back. Okay, it's really simple, but it's worth mentioning here because you got to pay more attention to when you can get backdoor opportunities, because you can score a lot of points off of them. The next is the backside slash, and this is probably even more effective than the dive or the backdoor. And I say this because the baseline will most often be open, and if your big man is on the high post or a little bit above the block, okay, he's positioned high, and that baseline becomes open, you have an easy opportunity to score points. So if you're in the corner and your big man has the ball in the high post or just above the block, the baseline's clear. Again, don't cut when he's making his move, but if the baseline's clear, you're going to step fake towards the top of the key. All right, lead your defender that way, make contact, and then dive down the baseline. Okay, as fast as you can, cut down the baseline, call for the ball, catch the pass, and finish. Now, you're going to want to finish most often on the same side as you came from. Okay, and I say this because there's going to be help defense on the other side, and they're going to be looking to block you if you try to reverse. So try to finish on the exact same side. The big man will dump you the ball, and you'll go up on the exact same side and finish. Okay, very, very effective opportunity to score more points. So we've talked about getting open one-on-one. We've talked about swimming, V-cut, L-cut, the two keys to creating space, the Reggie Miller cut. We talked about the dive, the backdoor, the backside slash. So hopefully by now you know how to move without the ball and you recognize these scoring opportunities. Now we got to talk about scoring off of screens. And this is self-perpetuating, like I said before. If you can score off screens and you know how to use screens very well, there's not many players who can. So your coach is going to love that you know that you know how to use screens. He'll set more screens for you. He'll call more plays for you, which means more points for you, which means when he sees you using those screens and scoring off of them, he's going to run even more screens for you and more plays for you. And then you score more points, and it's just a self-perpetuating process. So you want to learn how to score off screens because coaches absolutely love it. So we'll talk about the 3 types of screens and how to use them. And it's not necessarily the 3 types of screens, it's the 3 ways that you're going to use them. So here's a couple keys to using screens before we get into those 3 types. And first of all, you obviously want to read and react to your defender. We'll teach you how to do that, and you always want to retain defender control. You always want to have control over the defender and read and react to their movements and make the correct reactions. Next, you're going to treat it like a cut, okay? When you see the screen coming, you're going to walk the defender down, just like a V cut or an L cut, make contact, and then explode out and make your run at that screen. But always create that contact before you take the run at the screen. Okay, so read and react and treat it like a cut. We're going to talk about the curl now. All right, the curl, this is one way to use a screen when your defender is trailing very tight on your back. And often they'll be trailing really, really tight. They'll be, grabbing your shirt and things like that if you're a shooter. And, again, if you aren't a shooter, learn how to become one fast because you need to be. But in any case, use this when your defender's trailing very tight on your back. Okay, so make contact, make a run at that screen, curl hard around that screen, cut the corner, and cut them off when they're trailing very tight on your back. Okay, cut the corner as tough as you can, as tight as you can, and get them on your back. We talked about when you have them on your back, you are at a huge advantage. So cut the corner, get them tight on your back, finish at the rim most often, or if they get completely caught behind, you can pull up if the big man's in the way, or you can just go all the way to the rim and use those finishing techniques that we've already talked about. Next is the pop. And you're going to use this when the defender's trailing behind you again, like the curl, but there may be a step or two slow. And this is perfect for shooters. This is where I made quite a few points from the 3-point line because my defender might have trailed a step or two behind because, I treated it like a cut. I would make contact, I'd come off, and that contact would buy me a few feet of room. So I'd come off that screen flat, okay? Instead of curling around, I'd come off flat, and I'd look to shoot right off the catch. Okay, and if you're going to do this, you need to be ready to shoot right when you catch the ball. Okay, so come off flat, catch and shoot fast. And obviously look for 3 if you can. Look to come out behind the 3-point line. Next is the fade, and this will happen when you've already beat your defender a few times off of screens, and they're going to try to cheat in front of the screen. So you come off, you treat it like a cut as always, make contact, come around the screen, and your defender's going to jump in front of the screen. They're going to try to beat you to the spot because you've already come around the screen you've come around the screen with the pop or the curl a few times already, so they're anticipating that. So they jump in front, and all you do is stop, pivot, and step back behind the screen. Your teammate's going to skip past you the ball right over top of the screen, over top of the defender, and you're going to shoot it immediately. Right when you catch this ball, shoot it, okay? There's no questions asked. You will be open. If your defender cheats in front, just skip back behind, catch the pass, and shoot. Very good opportunity. Your defender is going to try to cheat, and whenever they cheat, make them pay. Okay, so we talked about the curl, the pop, and the fade. When you get these 3 down pat, your coach will be very, very impressed with the way you read and react with screens. They're going to run more screens for you, like we said, and you're going to get more and more and more points all the time off of screens because they're going to run more and more and more plays. Okay, so learn the curl, the pop, and the fade. Know where your defender is, know how to use them, and you will become very effective. Now, I want to kind of conceptualize the total package, right, of scoring without the ball. First, you're able to get open without against any defender now, right? You know how to change pace, you know how to make contact, you know all the cuts, you know how to make all the cuts, and you can get open against any defender right now. You know how to use any screen because you treat it like a cut. You know, you change pace and explode out, and you know how to read and react to screens. You can recognize all these scoring opportunities, you know, the dive, slashing on the baseline and catching that pass and finishing on the same side. You know how to use a backdoor cut. So when all these things kind of combine, when you can get open at any time that you want, okay, it opens up your one-on-one game to use the perimeter moves and things like that. But now you can score off any screen that your coach might set for you. You can also recognize all these scoring opportunities. So you can easily, you know, what if you could get open and beat your defender once per quarter? It's very, very reasonable. Get open and catch the ball and then make a move to beat your defender once per quarter for one basket. Then you used a screen and came off to either lay up or shoot a jumper every single quarter, once a quarter. And it'll probably be more than that if your coach is smart, if you're using them properly. Then you recognized one scoring opportunity every single quarter. Okay, once per quarter you dove down the lane and caught a pass and hit a layup. And you're probably going to get more than this, but this is just a baseline to look for. So what if you did one of these things, each of them every single quarter? That would be 6 points per quarter, 24 points per game. Really, really simple, very natural, comes within the flow of the offense. You recognize the scoring opportunities. You're not hogging the ball. You're not forcing anything. And you're just playing very, very good, solid basketball. That's what's possible for you right now. So I highly recommend that you master these techniques, practice them, get out and play in half-court situations and full-court scrimmages if you need to. And watch these three players, okay? Reggie Miller, Richard Hamilton, and Ray Allen. Those players are going to teach you by watching these players and what they do. They're going to show you exactly what they do. You'll see why they do it, how they read and react, and you'll be able to model what they do and add it to your game and score even more points. And you know, maybe you can do 2 of these every quarter. Okay, that's 12 points every quarter. If you can do each of these things twice each quarter. And it sounds pretty reasonable, right? You know, you get open against any defender twice per quarter and make a move and score. You use 2 screens a quarter and shoot a jumper. And then you just recognize 2 scoring opportunities when your big man has the ball. It's very simple. You know, you could very reasonably do 1 or 2 of these every single quarter and score 24 to 35 points per game easily. So this is all natural. It's all instinctive. And when you can do it, when you can score without the ball, you're going to become such a more dangerous and natural instinctive scorer that a lot of coaches are going to be coming after you to play for their team too. So I wish you the best of luck. Get out and practice. Watch these 3 players. Kind of internalize all these concepts and make sure that you're taking action as always. So I will see you in the next video. Best of luck with scoring without the ball, and I will talk to you in the next video.